Would you stay silent? Or let revenge speak for you? Welcome to the stories on Shattered Vengeance. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The text came at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Change the locks. This place suits me better than wherever you're crashing. You can visit when I'm home. I was sitting in my downtown office 23 floors up, reviewing architectural plans for a hospital expansion. The phone buzzed against the glass desk. I read it twice. Then I opened my banking app and checked the automatic payment that had cleared 4 days earlier. $3,200 to Coastal Properties Management. 37th consecutive month. My sister Emma had asked to stay at my beach condo, temporarily, 3 years ago. Her marriage had imploded. She needed space to heal. The condo sat empty most months anyway. I only used it for weekend decompression. I'd said yes within an hour. I hadn't said yes to her claiming ownership. I forwarded the text to my phone's archive, then called Mira Chen at Coastal Properties. She answered on the second ring. Mr. Reeves, perfect timing. I was about to call you. There's been a situation with Unit 7C. I know, I said. My sister changed the locks. Silence. Then, without your authorization? Completely. I'll meet you there in 40 minutes. Bring your lease agreement and ID. I didn't tell Emma I was coming. I didn't text my mother, who'd been calling Emma's arrangement a nice sister-brother living situation for months, as if we were college roommates instead of a property owner and an unauthorized occupant. I pulled the original lease from my file cabinet, grabbed my building access records and drove to the coast. The condo building rose white and clean against the Atlantic, all glass and angles. I'd bought Unit 7C in 2019 with my first architectural bonus, $385,000 for 800 square feet of ocean-facing peace. I'd furnished it minimally: gray couch, teak dining table, king bed with white linens that smelled like salt air and expensive detergent. Emma had redecorated. The lobby security guard Marcus looked up from his desk and smiled. Mr. Reeves, good to see you. You here to check on 7C? Something like that. Your sister had a locksmith up there this morning. New boyfriend too, I think. Big guy, lots of luggage. I know. I signed the visitor log out of habit even though I owned the place. Mira from Coastal Properties is meeting me. Marcus's smile faded. Oh, that kind of visit. Mira arrived 6 minutes later, carrying a tablet and a folder thick with documentation. She was 50-something, competent, the kind of property manager who remembered every tenant's name and never missed a rent check. She'd been collecting my monthly payment for 3 years without a single issue. Before we go up, she said, I need to confirm. Did you authorize Emma Reeves to change locks or claim residency? No. Did you sign any documentation transferring ownership or lease rights? No. Do you want her removed from the property? I thought about the ghost ledger I'd been building unconsciously for 3 years. Every family dinner where Emma described her place by the beach, while I sat silent. Every holiday where Mom praised Emma's beach lifestyle, and asked me if I was still doing that building stuff. The time Emma posted Instagram photos of my living room that I'd paid a designer $12,000 to furnish. The weekend I'd driven down unannounced and Emma had made me wait in the lobby for 20 minutes because she was busy. Yes, I said. I want her removed. We rode the elevator to the 7th floor. The hallway smelled like expensive candles. Not the cedar and sandalwood I'd chosen, but something synthetic and floral. Emma's taste. Mira knocked. Firm, professional 3 times. The door opened. Emma stood there in yoga pants and a tank top, hair in a messy bun, holding a coffee mug that said, Beach Vibes Only. Behind her, I could see a man on my couch, scrolling through his phone. What are you doing here? Emma's eyes flicked between us. I told you I was busy this week. I'm Mira Chen from Coastal Properties Management, Mira said, her voice pleasant and absolutely immovable. I need to verify the lease agreement for Unit 7C. I've lived here 3 years, Emma said. My brother lets me stay here. It's basically a family arrangement. So you don't have a signed lease? Mira asked. I don't need one. It's family. Mira opened her folder. According to our records, Noah Reeves is the sole leaseholder for this unit. Monthly rent of $3,200, paid consistently via automatic withdrawal for 37 months. No additional occupants listed. No sublease agreement on file. Emma's grip tightened on the door frame. He gave me permission. Verbal permission, Mira said, doesn't authorize you to change locks or claim residency rights. He turned to me. Mr. Reeves, do you want to enter your property? Yes. Emma didn't move. You can't just kick me out. Actually, Mira said, he can. You're not a tenant. You have no lease. You've changed locks without authorization, which constitutes illegal lockout of the legal resident. I can call the police now, or you can allow Mr. Reeves access to his property and we can discuss voluntary departure. This is insane. Emma pulled out her phone. I'm calling Mom. Call whoever you want, I said. My voice sounded different. Calm, factual, empty of the pleading tone I'd used for 3 years. But Myra's right. I own this condo. I've paid every mortgage payment, every HOA fee, every utility bill. You live here because I allowed it. I'm no longer allowing it. The boyfriend emerged from the living room, all 6'3" of him, wearing a tank top and aggressive confusion. What's going on? This is Noah, Emma said. My brother. He's being ridiculous about me living in his spare condo. It's not spare, I said. I use it. I pay for it. And you just told a locksmith you owned it. Mira was already texting on her phone. Building security is on their way. Mr. Reeves, do you want to file a formal trespass complaint? I watched Emma's face cycle through emotions. Shock, anger, calculation, panic. This was the moment she realized the slot machine wasn't paying out. That 3 years of feeding it coins, of tolerating condescension, of funding her beach lifestyle while she called it her place, had reached jackpot time. And the jackpot was empty. I'll need 15 minutes to pack, Emma said finally. You have 30, Mira said. Building policy during disputes. After that, security will escort you out and we'll arrange supervised property retrieval later. 2 security guards arrived. Marcus and a younger woman named Jennifer I'd met once when reviewing building access protocols. They positioned themselves politely but firmly in the hallway. Emma and her boyfriend started throwing clothes into suitcases, moving with the frantic energy of people who just realized their free ride ended at the exact speed of institutional authority. I stood in my own doorway and watched. The condo looked different. She'd replaced my minimalist art with beach-themed signs that said, "Seize the day," and "Sandy Toes, Salty Kisses." My teak table had water rings. The gray couch had a stain shaped like Australia. Mira stood beside me making notes on her tablet. You'll want to change the locks again after this. I recommend a smart lock system with access codes you control. Also, I should mention, your lease technically prohibits long-term guests beyond 14 days without written approval from management. I didn't know that. Most owners don't until situations like this happen. She glanced at Emma hauling a suitcase past us. For what it's worth, you handled this correctly. Documentation, proper channels, minimal emotion. I've seen property disputes drag on for months when people try to solve them through family conversations instead of legal processes. 27 minutes later, Emma and her boyfriend stood in the hallway surrounded by 7 suitcases, 2 cardboard boxes, and a potted plant I'd never seen before. You're really doing this, Emma said. Over a condo. Over respect, I corrected. Over boundaries. Over you telling a locksmith you own something I bought with my bonus while you were telling Mom I do that building stuff. Mom's going to be furious. Mom doesn't pay my mortgage. I watched them walk to the elevator. Emma turned once, her face a mixture of anger and something else. Maybe the first recognition that I wasn't the accommodating little brother anymore. That the person who'd let her stay for 3 years had also documented every payment, every authorization, every boundary she'd crossed. The elevator doors closed. Mira handed me a new key. I had maintenance rekey it while they packed. Old codes are deactivated. I'll email you the new access information within the hour. I walked into my condo, my actual legal documented condo, and opened the sliding glass door to the balcony. The Atlantic stretched gray-blue and endless, wind carrying salt and possibility. The afternoon sun hit the water at angles that made my architect brain appreciate light physics. My phone buzzed. Mom's name appeared. I declined the call. Then I blocked Emma's number, screenshotted the blocking confirmation, and filed it in a folder labeled 7C documentation. Mira appeared in the doorway. One more thing. Your sister mentioned to the locksmith that she'd been paying some bills. I checked our records. You've paid every cent of rent, utilities, and HOA fees. If she tries to claim financial contribution, we have 3 years of documentation proving otherwise. Thank you. Part of the job. She smiled. Though between us, this was the most straightforward property recovery I've handled. Most people cave when family cries. You just let the systems work. After she left, I sat on my stained couch and opened my banking app. Pulled up 3 years of automatic payments. $3,200 monthly. 37 months. $118,400 total. Not including utilities, internet, HOA fees, property taxes, mortgage interest. I treated my family like a slot machine. Feeding coins, waiting for jackpot of basic respect. The machine kept taking. I kept feeding it. Convincing myself the next pull would pay out. But slot machines are designed for the house to win. I wasn't the house anymore. I was the player walking away. 3 months later, my savings account showed numbers I hadn't seen in years. The $3,200 monthly drain had reversed into accumulation. I'd taken 2 weekend trips to the condo. Actual restful visits, not tense family negotiations. The seize the day signs were gone. The couch was professionally cleaned. The water rings sanded out. Emma had texted from a new number once. You really think you won? I'd replied, I think I stopped losing. Mom had called twice, then given up. Apparently Emma was renting a studio apartment 40 minutes inland, working retail to cover rent her boyfriend wouldn't split. The beach lifestyle had evaporated at the exact speed of actual financial responsibility. I stood on my balcony last Saturday, watching sunset paint the Atlantic copper and gold. The silence felt different than it had 3 years ago. Not empty. Full of space I'd reclaimed. Of boundaries I'd enforced. Of systems that worked when I stopped trying to solve institutional problems with family emotions. The condo was mine. The mortgage was mine. The peace was mine. And I was no longer paying for anyone else's beach vibes.